Hey guys, welcome back to April Joe's Crash to Go. Today I'm going to show you how to make a simple folio using only paper and a cardstock, and I'm going to use the Firefly collection from Echo Park. Here is an example of the folio that I'll be making today, and I'll show you more at the end. So, I use something from the solids collection, and I've already cut both sheets down to 8 inches in height, and they're now 8 by 12, and I'm using some score tape to stick them together to make a approximately 24-inch by 8-inch piece of paper. So I'm taking that off partially, and then I'm going to line those up and get those stuck down. Sorry if you can see my head in the frame, I'm sure you can. So now we have one long piece that is around, sorry again, around 23 and 3/4 inches, somewhere around there. And so now I'm going to use my paper trimmer to score this. First, we're going to score it 5 inches on each end to make our flaps. So 5 inches on one end, and we'll turn it, and we'll score it again at 5 inches on the other end. I had my scoreboard there, but to get my head less in frame, it's easier to use my paper trimmer, because I have trouble seeing the scoreboard unless I'm up close. Flipping it around and scoring at 5 again. Now we're going to fold and burnish this flaps in. And the next step is, after the flaps are folded in on each end, score it 6 inches to get our spine. The spine will be about 2 inches. I wish it wasn't quite that big because we don't need that much space, but it's okay because we could add lots into there. I just don't think 2 inches. I probably should have done about a little longer. So the spine wouldn't be so large, but it's okay. So that is our basic folio now. We're going to add pockets and decor to it, but that's the basics of the folio. We have a 2-inch spine, and then 2 6-inch sides, and then 5-inch flaps that fold up. So it becomes a 6 by 8 by 2 folio. Now, using the scrap that I cut, I'm going to cut that down to, I think, 5.5 by 3 inches to make 2 gusseted pockets. outlined up at either, I think it's 3, it might be 2.5, I'm not sure. And then we're going to score on 3 sides at 1/2 inch. So we'll have a gusset at the bottom and on both sides. So we can fit lots of goodies in those pockets. And I tore that when I was scoring it, so I will end up making another one. So here is where you see me working on making another one. That is 5.5 by 3, scored on 3 sides. You just have to be careful when you're scoring on your trimmer. Sometimes I just use too much of a firm hand, and then I tear through the paper and it gets messed up. So this time I was maybe too gentle, but we got the job done. And I'm sorry I got out of frame here. I also, hopefully you could see me burnishing those, and I'm cutting off the excess, cutting it at an angle where the 2 score lines meet, and then a little bit off of the top side of both sides of the top of the pocket. Okay, so those are our 2 gusseted pockets that we're going to add. We're going to make 2 other pockets out of scraps later, but they're not going to have a gusset. And now we're going to measure to create our cover, which I use this beautiful firefly paper from Echo Park, and it is just, this is probably my favorite sheet in the whole pack. And I'm cutting it down to probably 7 3/4, because oftentimes when I cut it at 7 7/8, it's too tall, so I might even have to cut it again. And then I'm cutting it at 5 7/8 or 5 3/4. I'm not sure which, but basically making a mat so that you can see the background around it. Again, sorry, I keep getting my head in the frame, but I have to look closer. Okay, so those are covers. And now I am going to mat the pockets with that scrap that I just had left over of the firefly paper. Also, this folio, as you know, is just made with cardstock. It's not even very thick, the cardstock. So I love adding the mats to add some strength. You know, I love making making chipboard folios, but I wanted to try to make something a little simpler and where I could just use 2 sheets of paper and then use decorator paper to decorate it and ephemera and cut aparts and things. So and those are 2 1/4 by 4 3/4, I believe, is what I cut those to. But then I made a mistake. I tell you, when you're filming, you're going to make more mistakes than any other time. That's what happens. And our finished pocket ended up being 4 1/2 by 2 1/2 inches, I think. So I think I told you wrong. The mat is going to be 4 1/4 by 2 1/4. That's how big the mat is for those pockets. And now I'm looking for, through my scraps, as you can see, I have a ton of scraps there, so that I can double layer one of the cut aparts to put on the cover. I love setting it off with a different color, and especially with those bright yellows, since the cover is going to be that navy blue firefly paper. So, and now I'm going to glue on my mats for my pockets, or cut them down again if I need to. Oh, and there I'm looking through the cut aparts. I have a little bin. When I cut paper up, I try to put the ephemera and the cut aparts in a little bin, and I can kind of find what I'm looking for. So I find this cute little lantern piece and a little phrase piece there that I'm going to use for the front cover. So I'm going to mat that on this leftover yellow cardstock. And those are 3 by 4 cut apart. So this ends up being, because I didn't measure and cut, I just glued it down and then kind of used the, trimmer to get layers. So I think it ends up being 3 1/2 by 4 1/2 once it's all finished. And then I'm going to add another layer to it also. I love having double matted little cut aparts or ephemera on the front of my folio covers. It's one of my favorite ways to decorate. So I love this plaid paper. I was saving these 2 sheets for the end of the paper pack, and these are the last 2 sheets I have. So hopefully soon I'll film a paper stash smash to show you everything I made with this paper pack. I'm just getting a basic idea where I can glue that down, and then I can cut it down further if I need to. That plaid is so beautiful. I love blue and yellow together. It's just gorgeous. I don't know if you watched my Echo Park warehouse sale haul, but I got so much at this last warehouse sale. And they have a sale on again at echoparkpaper.com. So go check it out if you want some really nice scrapbook paper. So now we're ready to assemble our cover. I guess we'll do the pockets first. So pocket mats. I do love that paper and all of the colors it comes with. It's just beautiful. Sorry, I'm going to have to work on my camera angle. I keep getting out of frame and I don't know. I need to move it up, but I have a really big craft mat and I just try to center that as best I can. But and now we can glue on that beautiful paper. Hopefully it fits. I was really torn also, but I love the firefly side, so I had to use that. But I love the little gingham on the back. Sorry again about getting my head in frame. Trying to get that lined up. And this is another great thing about the cardstock folios. I can lay it totally flat to glue things on and to get things straight. So it really helps. The spine isn't, it's just, you know, a piece that will pop up when you fold it, you know. And now I looked for a moment to see if I had a scrap to mat this on. I wanted to find a light blue piece or something, but everything was just a little too small and it wouldn't have shown. So I always like to use up my scraps as best I can while I'm crafting. I try to smash a full paper pack before I allow myself to start on a new one. So I just decided to glue it straight down. And sorry I had to do a voiceover. I thought it would be easier for you guys to hear. So I am doing a voiceover for this video. And probably for some future videos. And now we've got those pockets ready to glue down. So it is a simple folio. It's got, it's a 6x8 with a 2-inch spine, but then it has a 5x8-inch flap on each side. So, you know, it's got room for photos and decor, whatever you'd like to put in there. Now we can glue the back on. I tell you, every time I turn that paper over, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to use that side, but I have to use the fireflies. Now I wanted to use some scraps to strengthen the spine, so I'm measuring that, and it's 2 inches by 8 inches. So I'm going to cut some more paper of that beautiful plaid. Oh no, well at first I was going to use that, but then I think I decided to use like that thing was quite big enough. So and it was not, these pieces were not tall enough, so it didn't work out. So I did that at 1 3/4 by 7 3/4, I believe. Just a matte layer for the inside spine. Now I'm going to use these scraps to just glue on a couple of sides and make some pockets. I kind of wish I would have cut this down a little more because it doesn't show off the cut aparts as much as I would have liked, but I just decided to make kind of a tall pocket since I need to use up all these scraps anyway. Also, on the other folios I made, I put decorator paper on those flaps, and I guess I wasn't thinking about it. I may go back and add that, but I didn't put any decorator paper there for some reason. I guess I just didn't think about it. And then I'm cutting off the extras from that messed up pocket so I can make another pocket out of it. I just cut off the gussets. And then I just put glue on the side and bottom and glued that down. And now it's time for the most fun part, which is all the decorating. So I'm looking at stickers and ephemera and cut aparts because I want to fill all those pockets with lots of goodies and things. So sorry, the folio is a little wide to be in frame, so I was just trying to find stickers and things. And I'm looking through to see what cut aparts and things I'd like to put in there and what ephemera I'd like to add. So I want to use up as many 4x6s as I can because I only have one partial sheet left and scraps, so I know I probably won't be able to use those. So I put all my 4x6s in and several 4x4s. And some 3x4s and some ephemera. So I love when they give you those little pages where you can write notes and things, great for journaling and such. This set came with so many cute pieces of ephemera. I kind of need more paper, even though I had bought the solids and the collection kit. I need more paper to go with all the ephemera. And then I closed my flaps and realized they look a little plain, so they need some decor on them. Again, I may go back and pull the stickers off and add add decorator paper to those, because that's what I did in my other folios I made. It's just a great simple folio that anybody can make in a few minutes. And although it took me quite a while just from finding paper and going through scraps and things, it's like a 10-minute project. And then you can have fun decorating it. I decided to put that little sticker tag in the spine just to add a little something else. And so that is our folio. I actually decided to put some paper on the spine on the outside too, though, because it just, again, strengthens it. So the spine's 2x8, so I think I did 7 3/4 by 1 3/4, and used more of that plaid. That plaid is almost gone. And I found out it was a little too big, so I just cut a little extra bit off. I don't even know if I measured there. And dry fitting, it looks like it's going to work, so we'll glue that down. Sorry again, my head gets in frame so much in this video. I just my vision's not great, and I have to get close to make sure things are lined up. And they still may not be perfectly lined up. And there is our lovely simple folio that is so easy to make, and it can use up lots of scraps and lots of cut aparts. And I love these colors. It just turns out super cute. And here is one of the other ones I made. So as you can see, I covered that flaps. And I only did 2 pockets in the others, and they're not gusseted, but this time I took the time to add, just to show you some other ways to do it. So I hope you enjoyed this simple folio. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.